Good evening, lovely people. Here we are, gathered once again in our Connect groups. And this week it's my pleasure to be able to share with you some of the things I've been mulling over this week with regards Jesus' deep thoughts on Revelation. A nice easy subject. So we'll have read together already from Luke chapter 10. I'm going to try and just draw out the heart of that, because it's a very meaty part of the Bible, as I'm sure you're aware, but there's a few things I want to really draw upon tonight. First of all, I want to consider, as a beginning of a conversation in our Connect groups, what is revelation, what is meant by revelation. Secondly, I want to look briefly at who receives revelation and perhaps consider some of the reasons why. And finally, to wrap that up and to draw it together with the sense of the purpose of revelation. So some of you may know I'm involved in education, and obviously I spent a lot of time thinking about teaching and learning. And so when I think about revelation, I'm thinking immediately in terms of knowledge, of discovering something, of finding something out, something that's fresh and new and exciting. I've had a revelation. It needs a profound moment. So it has to be something more than just something that's a bit interesting. It has to have a deep and lasting impact on the person who has received this new wisdom, this new fresh insight. And there's a term which I use in when talking about children's learning, which talks about a paradigm shift, a fundamental movement, a change in, I used to think this way, but now I can see this way. And it doesn't diminish what's gone before. It doesn't wipe out the learning that went before, but it enhances it and brings richness and freshness to it. And so I was thinking of a possible example to illustrate what on earth I'm talking about there. And I've got an example from Star Wars. I'm talking about the original trilogy here. I'm a purist, so I'm talking about the real ones. If you haven't seen Star Wars, my explanation now does contain spoilers, so you may wish to either leave the room or block your ears in some way. Anyway, paradigm shift, a moment of revelation which changes everything. So here we are, we've got Star Wars. Obviously I watched it with huge delight as a child, still watch it with a great deal of excitement. You have the character of Darth Vader. Darth Vader is introduced as the villain, the black cloak, the red lightsaber. Then we get to The Empire Strikes Back, and there's a moment of revelation. A new piece of information which comes in which says, actually, this character that was the baddie, you really don't like him. They have an intimate relationship with the hero of the story. It's a father and son relationship. And that's a moment of revelation which brings about a paradigm shift. Everything you've learned so far, all those facts, the little boyish Andrew memorised about Star Wars, all the names of the characters, all of that's still the same, but you now look back on what you learned in a new light, and as you go forward from this point of revelation, it casts a different beam ahead. So in education, I'm always looking to identify points in a curriculum where there are these real moments of revelation. This learning changes everything. So that's how I'm approaching the concept of revelation, a powerful understanding which just opens your eyes and opens your mind and opens your heart, and gosh, it's new, and it's a powerful and a profound thing. Now, looking at how Jesus spoke about revelation and talked about revelation, we can see here one of these just beautiful and profound things that we find all the time in the Bible. This is incredible. You have hidden these things from the wise and learned and revealed them to little children. Wow. Now again, this is Jesus. We know that Jesus spoke always, I won't say counterculture, but just speaking the truth, speaking into positions of inequality, speaking to turn society on its head. Extraordinary. And here he's saying revelation, this profound, life-changing, powerful knowledge, I'm not going to give to the learned and the wise. It's not going to come to them. Now, we know, don't we, that as Christians we're often criticised that we don't really think about things. There's a lot of intellectual mockery, really, of you need a crutch, don't you? And that it's all thousands of years old, and you don't really understand what you're thinking about. So we know that we're mocked slightly there. So I'm wondering, is this what it's getting at? Well, I think it's deeper than that. I think it's more significant than that. Again, looking at this sense of disparity, the gaps in society then and now, the inequality then and now. Education, the highest levels of education, have traditionally been the reserves of those at the top, those who wield the power. And as I begin to think in terms of why God would in some way not give revelation to those, I think it's because if you are in one of those positions where you can learn and learn and learn, which is brilliant. God is not against learning. God is not against us using our brains. He gave us brains. He wants us to think and be brilliant. But if you're one of those positions where you are building yourself up in your ivory tower of learning and knowledge, if you're in one of those positions, you see, then you have knowledge that's used as a weapon. Knowledge is used as a club against the poor. Do you know what I mean? That sort of knowledge, which I think is deeply offensive to me personally. And then there's another layer, isn't there? Those people who devote their lives to knowledge in order to build a platform, and on that platform to place a throne, and on that throne to sit themselves and say, look how clever I am. I am an amazingly clever woman or man. I'm far cleverer than you. And we know, one thing we know about God, he's generous and merciful and gives and gives and gives, but he does not like to share his glory. And I feel strongly that when he says, this revelation is not for the learned and the wise, I think it falls into that. And I echo back a few verses before, and we see Satan falling like lightning from heaven. Why did he fall? Pride. So there we have that. Okay, so now let's say, well, who am I going to give this revelation to? NIV, we say little children. Other versions have babes. Well, again, is it like, revelation? It's really simple. It's spoon feeding. It's no. As I say, I've spent many years of my life in education. Children, the youngest age of children, are learning at an extraordinary, extravagant rate, an exponential rate. Those early years of learning, this is not baby learning. This is not simplistic learning. You're going to learn to walk. That's a really, really tricky thing to do. Walking is complicated. You're going to learn to speak. You're going to learn to read and write. You're going to learn to manipulate number. Early learning is incredible. And I tell you something else that I really think is significant as we think about this evening. Well, why would this revelation, this powerful paradigm shift, this powerful, impactful revelation go to the children? Okay, because God asks us to have faith like a child, not childish, not babyish, childlike. And when I think about a child learning, it comes, and this is a beautiful thing, it comes without cynicism. So what do I mean by that? Okay, well, as you get increasingly advanced in years and in intelligence, you begin to see a pathway in your life that, well, I'm going to learn that because I can do that, and that'll earn me some more money. Or I'm going to learn that, and it means I'll be able to do that. Child is learning for two reasons. One, because they're enjoying the learning, and two, and I know this because I know it, because I've seen it and lived it, children learn because they want to please the teacher. They want the teacher to say, well done, you're brilliant, well done, that's marvellous. So I can see quite clearly in this a sense of justice, but also, as always, God looking straight to the heart. What does he want? He wants that heart. He wants to know us. And so then I just bring that together now, that fine little thought I wanted to share about the purpose of revelation. The purpose of revelation. Why does Jesus reveal himself? Why does the Father reveal himself? So that we might know him better. That we might know his heart, his mind, his thoughts. his plans, his purposes. We might know him better. Come closer, my daughter. Come closer, my son. Let me whisper a revelation to you, a new and fresh and beautiful insight. And it's a marvellous and a wonderful thing to be in that position. And I'll just leave you with one final little thought for the evening. Here's a moment of revelation. God, maker of the universe, creator of heaven and earth, sends his son and then says to us, you, my son, you are my daughter. Jesus is your adopted brother. There's a moment of revelation for us tonight. We're adopted. We're adopted by the King of Kings. Anyway, thank you for listening. Thank you for your patience, and enjoy your conversations this evening. If you can hear barking in the background, it's lovely Watson, and he's saying amen, or possibly I need a wee. I'm not sure. Anyway, have a lovely evening.